here are the steps required for factoring a trinomial when the leading coefficient is not 1. I called it a trinomial because if you look at the expressions like say 6x squared plus x minus 2, it has 3 terms, and tri stands for 3. It's a quadratic uh, expression. I need to factorize it. This skill is required for rest of the problem solving activities. So make sure that the expression is written in correct order. That means the x squared term first, then comes x to the power 1 and the term without any coefficient, index. And this is known as constant term. And this is the leading what you call coefficient. Now the next thing you ought to do is in fact multiply the leading coefficient and the constants. So what we need to do, we need to multiply these two. That'll give me negative 12. Now focus on this number, negative 12, and find out list all the factors from the previous step, which is negative 12. So we are looking at 1 and 12 and 2 and 6. I'm running out of space. 2 and 6 and 3 and 4. Notice I overlooked the negative sign for the time being. I will address the changes with the negative number later on. After now you got to decide on the combination of numbers to get the number next to x, and incidentally that number is 1. This is an invisible 1, so we need to recognize in algebra we never write 1 times something. So the middle number should be 1, and if we look at negative 3 plus 4, that's, so you got to choose the right kind of sign. So that's a negative 3 and negative 4. If I go for negative 4, positive 3, that'll give me negative 1, which is not going to work with this one. So I go for negative 3 plus 4. That combination is going to work. And if we multiply negative 3 times 4, that is supposed to give me negative 12. Right? So now I'm going to rewrite the original problem. I'm going to rewrite the original problem with 4 terms. That is where some of the students get rather confused. So 6x squared, it was in the original expression, negative 3x plus 4x minus 2. That was already in the original expression, and this is where I kind of splitted the middle term. And if I add 4x, with negative 3x, that'll give me that coefficient of 1 in front of x. Now finally, we have to, I'm going to simply rewrite the 4-term expression, which is 6x squared minus 3x plus 4x minus 2. Now that problem, now that the problem is written with 4 terms, now final step is you have to factor by grouping. So let's look at the two groups. 6x squared minus 3x, that can be a group. Don't forget that connector plus positive, and that 4x minus 2 is another group. So we ended up with two groups. Now I'm going to factorize each group. Factorize, call it 1, factorize 2, right? And the highest common factor for this one is 3x. That'll give me 2x minus 1. Remember, that's positive plus. This is the thing I have drawn for the sake of explaining. And the common factor from there is 2. That'll give me 2x minus 1. So that gives me a good expression with these two factors are common. They are exactly the same. So I simply write it outside the bracket. I open another new bracket. I write down 3x, and that gives me plus 2. All done. That's the answer. Finally, summary. These are the steps. Make sure the trinomial is written in the correct order. Multiply the leading coefficients and the constant. List all the factors from step 2. Decide which combination of numbers will combine to get the number next to x.